somewhat special to present the Excellence Award for Academia Achievement.
Now I have the pleasure to introduce the guest of honor, Mr. Vikram Nair, to award the IHFS Excellence Award to the Ambassador for Academia, Mr. Krishnan Nair. The height, you can do anybody. And this is the certificate, sir. You want me to open it up?
Good evening, friends. A diplomat never gives up the opportunity to say a few words. But I promise it will be very short because I saw the menu, very good menu. So I won't want to keep you. I really wanted to say why I wanted to speak. This award really is because of the late President S.R. Nathan. I had finished about 40 years of diplomatic service. I was leaving Kuala Lumpur. And one day he called me and said, I want you to go to ISIS to take over as director. I nearly fell off the chair. Because ISIS has been known for academic work headed by very renowned academics like Karnal Singh, Professor Karnal Singh Sandhu. So I said, why are you asking me to go to a place the academics will eat me alive? You know? Because academics can be very, very conscious. Huh? Anyway, President Nathan said, no, you go there, you know what you will do. So it was like putting into a swimming pool and say, you swim. But luckily I survived. I was there for 10 years. And one of the achievements, personally, I'm proud of, is how I was able to expand the research work in ISIS to include beyond Southeast Asia to India, to China, to other parts of the world. And one of the books that we came out with, from Nagapattinam to Swarnadipa. This is the story of the Cholas. Nobody had ever done, at least in Singapore, such a pronounced study. So I'm very proud of that. And so on that note, I would like to thank all of you for coming and seeing me, getting me this award. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the next award is the Excellence Award for Legal Contribution. And this award will be presented, of course, to Mr. Chur Singh and Ms. Hardeep Kaur Sidhu, the daughter-in-law of Mr. Chur Singh, will represent him today. And at this point of time, I would like to call upon Mr. Harbans Singh to provide the citation. Would you please give him a big warm round of applause?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Jaswant Singh was my school principal, and right up to his last few years, I used to meet up with him, and we used to have long discussions in the Gurdwara. Mr. Jaswant Singh Gill and Sardar Chud Singh Sidhu were two giants among the Sikhs of Singapore. Both were born in Punjab and came to Singapore at a very young age. Both of them served the country in various positions and were also benefactors of their community in ways that many people may not know. Besides his service in the Singapore Navy, Mr. Jaswant Singh Gill was also the principal of my primary school, Pearl Bank School. Many of us who were born in Punjab came to Singapore and we were overaged. I am one of those who benefited from Mr. Gill's acceptance of me into Pearl Bank School. Today, my son is also a school principal. And we also have another friend of ours whose son is sitting in Parliament. He is also a benefactor. And there are also so many others who actually benefited from his acceptance into the Punjabi school. He also gave his services to the Punjabi education. There was a Khalsa Punjabi school and he volunteered as the principal. Mr. Chud Singh was a close friend of Mr. Jaswant Singh. And though, like many other Punjabi immigrants, came from a humble background, through his sheer determination and hard work rose to unparalleled heights. After completing his legal studies, he was appointed as a coroner, and after that became the first Indian in Malaya to be appointed a magistrate. He progressed to district judge, and in 1963 was appointed a judge of the Supreme Court. He sat on many famous cases, and it is to his credit that none of his judgments that were referred to the Privy Council were ever overturned. Upon retirement, he also wrote a few books on religion and law. Along with his close friend Sardar Jaswant Singh Gill, they were founder members of the Singapore Khalsa Association, which produced national hockey players like Veer Singh and Gopal Singh and many others. Their contributions are too many to count, and we are glad that they are being honored by the Indian Hall of Fame, Singapore, for their many contributions to country and society. A member of the family is here to receive the awards. She is Madam Hardeep Kaur Sidhu, who is the daughter of Mr. Jaswant Singh Gill and the daughter-in-law of Justice Chud Singh. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite Mr. Vikram Nair to present the award and the certificate to Ms. Hardeep Kaur Sidhu. Let's give a big warm round of applause. Our next award, ladies and gentlemen, is the R. Jumaboy Excellence Award by Entrepreneurship. It will be presented, of course, to Mr. Amir Ali R. Jumaboy. But here today, we will be inviting R. Jumaboy Iqbal Amir Ali R. Jumaboy to provide the citation. Can we please give him a big warm round of applause?
First of all, let me thank all of you for being here today, and to the Indian Hall of Fame for remembering my late father. We lost him about just a little over 18 months ago. And I cannot tell you how proud I am and how grateful I am to all of you for recognizing him. My father, I also think that the choice of award for him could not be more appropriate. My father was the consummate entrepreneur. He, if there was, whether you want to call him maverick, entrepreneur, he swam against the tide, whatever he did. All the way from, and if you'll indulge me for a couple of minutes, because I think that's all I'm allowed, I will just share 2 or 3 things about him. First of all, I think a lot of people may not know that he had to take his pregnant mother and his younger siblings to India during the Second World War, because the family was in danger when the Japanese were invading the Malayan Peninsula and Singapore. So he went there, and he was basically he said that when he got on the ship, all Asians in Singapore, it was a charmed life. We were all we were all equal. Got on the ship, and he suddenly realized for the first time in his life what it was to be a British subject. Not a citizen, a subject, where all the Asians were kept below deck, and only the Europeans were given positions and cabins. And he described that in some detail. And when he got to Bombay, went to university, he heard Gandhiji speaking. And while my grandfather was a pillar of the establishment, this is his first sign of being a total maverick. He joined the Quit India movement, became a freedom fighter, marched for Gandhiji, went to jail for Gandhiji, but ultimately somehow got through his exams and came back to Singapore as soon as the war was over. A couple of things that a lot of people don't know. Our family business started here in trading, and everybody remembers trading and shipping. What they do not know is that actually, while my grandfather, whom he worked for, was out of Singapore on a government trip to the UK, he's the one who approached the Indian government and got the Agency for Shipping Corporation of India against his father's wishes. And the family then became known for being in shipping and trading. He did something else a bit later. Again, we had never been involved in real estate or property except as investors. And he said, you know what? I can see that the way service departments are run or run down in the West, when he used to visit, he said there must be a place for a professionally run service department operation. And again, against the tide, he created, and against the family's, or some of the family's original wishes, he built perhaps the world's first purpose-built service department building outside of the US since 1930. He created and built a company that then became, although our family no longer has any involvement, it has become the world's largest service department company. So really, I'll stop here, but I accept to say that my father would have been so proud this evening, because he always swam against the tide, whether in business, whether in public life, whether in his social life. He always went the other way and came out on top. So thank you all very much for recognizing him. He lived with my wife and me for the last 25 years of his life. And so we are extremely proud to be here and to represent him. Thank you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you indeed, sir. And now we would like to invite our guest of honor, Mr. Vikram Nair, to present the awards. And right after this, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to invite Mr. S.A. Nathanji to bestow the shawl upon our representative. A warm round of applause, please. Thank you very much indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, and now we do have our next award. It is actually the Professor S.S. Ratnam Excellence Award for Medical Contribution, and it's going to be presented to Professor Nambiar. We would like to invite Dr. V.P. Nair on stage to provide the citation.
Dr. Raj Mohan Nambiar was born in Kerala, known as the God's own country. He graduated with MBBS from India at the King George's Hospital in Andhra Medical College. After passing FRCS and completing postgraduate surgical training, he joined Singapore Medical Service in 1964. He is currently a visiting consultant at Tan Tock Seng Hospital, Singapore General Hospital, Kutupkot Hospital, as well as emeritus consultant and clinical professor of National University of Singapore. He distinguished himself as an outstanding surgeon, mentor, and teacher for over 50 years. He has served as head of surgery at TPH and SGH. He was master of the Academy of Medicine. Just like Academy of Law, we have Academy of Medicine, Singapore, from 1990 to 1992. He was president of the Singapore Medical Council, which is the licensing body of all the doctors. We have more than 5,000 doctors here. From 2005 to 2008, he was chairman of the Singapore Cancer Society because he has done a lot of work for the cancer patients in Singapore and overseas. He served on the board of directors of Sing Health, Singapore's largest public health cluster, for 10 years. He was appointed to the governing board of Duke NUS Medical School from 2016 to 2020, and he has served as the board of director of the Alexandra Health Fund from 2001 to date. He received PPA in 1978 and BBM in 2008. Prof. Nambiar was the founding council member of the Asian Surgical Association and served as the president from 83 to 85. He has been on the editorial board of international surgical journals, including the famous British Journal of Surgery, Australian and New Zealand Journal of Surgery. He has published and co-authored more than 100 publications. His name is well known in Singapore, Australia, India, America, and Asia Pacific regions. A consultant, Dr. Suresh Nair is a consultant obstetrician and gynecologist. He has a clinic called Seed of Life and is well known in Southeast Asia for infertility, fertilization, and many other things. Come, Suresh.
Prof, what can I say? Prof. Nambiar, you have taught us, you have nurtured us, you have guided us, all of the doctors in Singapore, as fledglings, doctors, right through medical school, all the way up to leadership, to only hope to emulate you. You have led us in the Singapore Medical Council, the Singapore Medical Association, as a great surgeon, a great teacher as well. Thank you, Prof. From the bottom of my heart, you made us, the rest of the doctors in Singapore and around the region, who we are today. You're a great man. Thank you very much.
Thank you indeed, ladies and gentlemen. And now we would like to present the awards to Professor Nambiar. We would like to invite our guest of honor, Mr. Vikram Nair. Sir, can you please approach the stage and present the special awards? And right after that, we will invite the president of IHS, Mr. S.A. Nathanji, to bestow the shawl upon Professor Nambiar. big warm round of applause.
Well, thank you, Indian Hall of Fame, Singapore, council members, and the president, Mr. Nathanji. And I'm just overwhelmed. Actually, not even in my dreams I had expected anything like this to happen. And this to be presented amongst all of you here, it's really great, and I'm humbled by the honor that you've given me today. I'm conscious that my name will be added on to the luminaries who have received this award and will be receiving, and I'm really humbled for that, and thank you. I'm particularly privileged to have Professor S.S. Ratnam Award for excellence. SS and I have worked together, not only in helping him with this very special operation a couple of times, but also for about 10 years in the School of Postgraduate Medical Studies, when I was a board member and he was a director. And we made sure that the standard of training in Singapore was equal, if not better, to those of the professional colleges overseas. And it was a very fascinating, challenging time that we've had. And I'm so glad you are celebrating and remembering Professor Ratnam by this award. Thank you very much. And before I go away, I thank my supporters, my family sitting there. Thank you very much.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be giving away the KP Bhaskar and Neela Satyalingam Excellence Award for Performing Arts. And at this point of time, I would like to invite Mr. Viswas Adesivan to provide the citation for Santa Bhaskar, the recipient of the KP Bhaskar and Neela Satyalingam Excellence Award for Performing Arts. Let's give a big warm round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
A graduate of the Chimpakasari Arya Kala Nilayam. She mastered several Indian dance forms: Kerala Nadanam, Mohiniyattam, Bharatanatyam, and Kathakali. 66 years ago, in 1956, she came to Singapore with her husband, the late Mr. K.P. Bhaskar. She taught and choreographed dance at what is now known as the Nrityalaya Aesthetics Society, the dedicated teaching wing of Bhaskar's Arts Academy. Over the years, her name became synonymous with very unique choreographies and concepts. She was particularly intrigued by and keenly interested in cross-cultural exploration. Her works are still talked about with great critical appreciation in art circles in Singapore, the region, and beyond. Her first full-length dance drama, the Chinese folktale Butterfly Lovers, ran sold-out shows for a week at the Victoria Theatre. This was in 1958, just 2 years after she came to Singapore. She obviously spared no time or effort in immersing herself into the community, which became her beloved new home. She choreographed and performed in numerous acclaimed productions that blended the Indian art form and mythology with Thai, Chinese, Malay, and Cambodian dance forms, just to name a few. She was conferred the Cultural Medallion in 1990, the highest honor accorded to arts practitioners in Singapore. In 2016, she received the Public Service Star at the National Day Awards. In 2021, last year, she was inducted into the Singapore Women's Hall of Fame. In the same year, she was conferred the Meritorious Service Medal on National Day. Ladies and gentlemen, we are proud and honored to present the Excellence Award for Performing Arts to the late Mrs. Shanta Bhaskar. Dr. V.P. Nair.
Dr. V.P. Nair.
Well, yes. I had asked Dr. V.P. Nair whether he would, because he's a very dear friend of the family. I think it's only appropriate that he receives it on behalf of Mrs. Bhaskar and the family.
Thank you. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to invite S.A. Nathanji to present the awards to Dr. V.P. Nair. And also the shawl will be bestowed upon Dr. V.P. Nair as well.
இந்தியன் ஹால் ஆஃப் ஃபேம் சிங்கப்பூர் விருது நிகழ்ச்சி ரொம்ப சிறப்பான முறையில் நடந்து முடிஞ்சிருக்கு. ரொம்ப சந்தோஷமாக இருக்குது. பல சாதனையாளர்கள் விருது பெற்றிருக்கிறாங்க. மறைந்த சாதனையாளர்கள், இருந்து கொண்டிருக்கும் சாதனையாளர்கள். இந்த நிகழ்ச்சி வழியாக இந்த தலைமுறை, அடுத்த தலைமுறை அவங்களுக்கு எப்படி இது ஒரு உந்துதலை அமையும் அப்படின்னு நம்புகிறேன்னா, அவங்களும் சாதனை படிக்கணும் அப்படிங்கிற ஆர்வம் அவங்களுக்கு அதிகமாகவும் நம்புகிறேன்.
இந்த மாதிரி ஒரு இது ஃபவுண்டேஷனில் வந்து இந்த நம்ம தமிழவங்களுக்கு கூப்பிட்டு நம்மளுக்கு ரிவார்டு கொடுத்து இதெல்லாம் வந்து ரொம்ப பெருமை. ஏன்னா நம்ம மக்கள் வந்து ரொம்ப பேர் இல்லை. இசை மற்ற ஜாதிகள்லாம் அவங்கெல்லாம் செய்கிறாங்க. நாய்க்காரவங்க, சீனனுங்க, வெள்ளக்காரங்க இதெல்லாம் செய்கிறாங்க. ஆனால் நம்ம தமிழவங்கன்னு வந்துட்டு அதோட ஒரு இன்விடேஷன் பண்ணும்போது தமிழன் உடுப்பு ஓட்ட வரணும், நம்மளுக்கு ஒரு பெருமை. அதனால் நான் இந்த மாதிரி ஜப்பாலாம் போட்டதெல்லாம் இல்லை, இதெல்லாம் போட்டுட்டு வந்திருக்கு. ரொம்ப பெருமையாக இருக்குது. அதோட வரை எல்லாம் தமிழவங்களுக்கு ரெக்கக்னைஸ் பண்ணுறாங்க.
Mr. Dhanabalan Suppaya, also known as S. Dhanabalan, affectionately known as Dhana, was one of the most popular Indian politicians, and for that matter, not Indian politician, the politician in Singapore among all the races in Singapore. He was the foreign minister of Singapore after Mr. S. Rajaratnam retired. And as a foreign minister, he did a wonderful job. Now that he's retired and he had been out of the gear for quite some time, but we thought we'll bring him back. So he gave a good speech today, and I'm very delighted that he was very happy to see that Indian Hall of Fame is doing a good job and that we are recognizing the best Indian brains in Singapore.
It kind of set me thinking just now, because as people were talking and they were interviewing people, older folks came up there and sat down there and gave of whatever they wanted to say. But in this way, the younger ones perhaps, they will be looking up to them.
This event is very important to the community, to inspire the youth of the community, and also to ensure that they carry on and remain inspired amidst everything that we go through in this lifetime, and to say that, you know, the world is an oyster and you can always do better.
The idea of organizing this IHFS award show stemmed from when I started writing a book in conjunction with the National Heritage Board, a book named Singapore, Nation Building and Indians' Contributions. That means Indians' legacy, how they contributed to the Singapore nation. And while I was writing the book, I got an idea how much the early Indians have contributed to the improvement of Singapore. And their contribution is tremendous contribution. So far, nobody has appreciated their contribution. So I wanted to do something. So after the book was released, then I formed an association named Indian Hall of Fame Singapore. And through that, every 2 years, we are giving away the award to all the deserving Indians who have contributed to the nation building of Singapore. The first one, we did it in 2020. Actually, it is 2019 award, and we gave it in 2020. 32 pioneers were given, including the former presidents of Indian presidents of Singapore, S.R. Nathan, then Devan Nair. Every sector there is included, including sports, culture, law, and contribution in medical profession. You name it, everything is there. 32 persons were given the award, and it was well received. And this year we are giving out 15 awards. We wanted to do it in a smaller scale because of the COVID was there, and it may have affected many people. So we wanted to do it, but we were really surprised. It was overwhelmingly successful. Indians who have contributed to the nation building of Singapore, and also making the Indian Singaporeans proud of their great achievements.